That's our way of saying welcome to our community, and thank you for being here. And now with the scene set, let's get into it. I think yesterday my colleague Jody Medich shared one of my favorite quotes from Peter Diamandis, co-founder of Singularity University, and it's this: the day before something is a breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. For our first session today, we want to share with you all a story. We want to share with you something that is a crazy idea that we believe is becoming a breakthrough. And yesterday in our closing session, where we talked about creative leadership and adaptive practices, we hit on a few ideas: asking new and different questions, thinking in systems, and challenging old narratives while we create new ones. And for our first speaker on the stage this morning, I want to introduce someone from a company who's doing all of those things and taking a crazy idea and turning it into a breakthrough to reimagine mobility for a better and more sustainable future. Please give a very warm welcome to the Chief Operating Officer of Hyperloop Global, Andres De Leon.
Hello everybody, thanks for having me here, thanks to the Federation of Thai Industries, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to share with you what we have been doing in the last 5 years, okay? So, what's Hyperloop? Well, we are trying to reshape mobility, you know? I think that, but let's start to talk about the problem. I don't think that I'm gonna discover anything if I tell you that anybody that is in this room likes to travel. Nobody likes to travel anymore. We like to arrive to destination, we like to see the people that we want to see, but we don't enjoy any more traveling. And why we don't enjoy it? Well, because of this, you know. When we are, sometimes, you know, you are gonna buy a car, they sell you a nice picture of you around in the road, moving and having an incredible experience, but then this is what you realize. And, you know, overcrowded, overloaded, overwhelmed, really tough. But, you know, if you complain about traffic here in Bangkok, it's probably because you have never been in China, you know? So if you have to be 11 days in a traffic jam, 74.5 miles of traffic jam, you know, every year in China, every time there is that. And of course, who likes about contamination, okay? Pollution. This is Beijing in a sunny day. In a not sunny day, you cannot even see your hands. So, anyway, so, you know, we don't like to travel in a car, so we say, okay, let's take mass transportation. It's nice, no? You don't need to drive, you can do it, it's great. Look at what happened. This is Beijing in a rush hour. You say, well, you know, there is a lot of people in China, so it's normal that I have this kind of problem, so I go to London, and the same. So, what do we have? Well, we have the opportunity to fly. Yeah, great, check-in, you know. 90% of the things we do in the airport, we could do it in our house. 90% of the time that we are in the airport, we could solve that problem in our house. And of course, if you go in a plane, be sure that you carry the bag with you. Because if not, you know, this could happen. Everybody knows where it's going, except your baggage. So anyway, what happened also if you drive? This, and what if I told you that today is going to be the last day of your life? How many things you haven't done? Okay, how many things you want to say to the guys that you love, to the people that you like? Well, I have news for you. Depending on where you live, you know, air pollution is taking some part of your time away from you. Maybe you are lucky and it's only 22 months, 18, 15, depending. But, you know, what happens if it is 50 months of your life that you are losing because of pollution and contamination? So we need to do something, you know? We cannot continue like this. So, we talk about the problem. talk for a moment about the solution. What is the solution for us? The solution is creating a transportation system that changes completely the way we travel. Okay? Connected, fast, speed is important, has to be safe, has to be sustainable, has to be profitable, so doesn't rely on public subsidies, so all the countries of the world can have access to that. And the most important thing, has to be human-centric. Needs to put the human in the center of the solution. So, when we started to think about the Hyperloop, we really thought that we had a huge opportunity to disrupt. This was about disruption. And our disruption basically was to create a system that, on one hand, is profitable in itself, doesn't rely on public subsidies. Germany, for instance, uses 22 billion every year, to subsidize his transportation system. Okay? There is no a single line of land rail transportation in the world that is profitable by itself. But also has to put the customer in the center, has to improve the passenger experience. So, in order to make this, you basically need three things. Okay? You need a system that gives you the speed. You need a system that is safe. Okay? And you need a system that is profitable. Why speed is important? Let's start for that. We have been working in different systems of transportation. And in the rail sector, for instance, with high-speed rail, we have solved a lot of problems. But what's the problem? The problem is that when you go more than 3 hours in a train, people just take the plane. If you want to go from Madrid to Barcelona, for instance, you take the train. But if you want to go from Madrid to Paris, you are going to take a plane. So you are creating contamination, and it's much more inconvenient. With Hyperloop, we can almost every distance, in continental distance, will be in that psychological limit that the people has to be, to use his time for 3 hours time. And we can redefine the urban landscape. Because at the end of the day, if you can live 300 kilometers outside Bangkok, okay, and you can come to work in 15 minutes every day, why are you going to live in the middle of the city? Maybe you want to live in another place. And of course, we can also redefine the way that we are thinking about the cities. Humanity more and more is putting together the people in mega cities. But wouldn't it be better to have different cities connected by a system? Anyway, of course, you can go fast, but the most important thing is you need to go safe. And on this, being completely honest, we were very lucky, because we were defining the system from scratch. And that's great, because we don't have a legacy. We don't have kilometers and kilometers of infrastructure that we need to remodulate. So that allows us to build the system in the way that should be built in the 21st century. So, structural health monitoring, sensors, everything, that you really need, new materials, opportunities that you have to make things safer. But also, if you think about it, think about the Hyperloop, you are inside a tube, you are in a closed environment, you are immune to weather conditions, so most of the fact you are fully automatized, so most of the factor of risk are disappearing with the system itself. But anyway, as I was saying before, you can do this, but we want to do it not only for the first world, we don't want to do it only for the countries that can subsidize it. We can do it in a way that the Hyperloop can be built in Africa, We can do it in a way, we want to do it in a way that Hyperloop can be financed by private initiative and doesn't rely on public subsidies. And why Hyperloop is so profitable? Why, in 10 to 15 years you can have a return of investment in an infrastructure like that? First of all, it's a light infrastructure. It's lighter than high-speed rail. So you have between 30 to 40% less capex, than the high-speed rail. But the most important thing, is the operational cost. We create more energy than we consume, and that's not because we are very smart, it's just because we put solar panels on top, okay? So we have our own proprietary technology that I will explain later to have a very low consumption of energy. We have in an environment that is a closed environment, so we have low maintenance and fully automatized. And in addition to that, for us, every single part of the infrastructure is an opportunity of monetization. If I told you tomorrow, what can you do with 200 pylons? You'll tell me, well, I don't know. 200 pylons, I can put it to hold a tube. Yeah, okay, but 200 pylons also could be an opportunity for energy storage, could be an opportunity for water storage, could be an opportunity for vertical gardening being rented to the community in the middle of the city. And it's not only that, it's that every single minute that somebody is with us is an opportunity to monetize. So anyway, what's Hyperloop? Let's see it.
Imagine a capsule. Imagine a capsule that can carry people.
Oh. Okay, so theoretically it should continue.
Placed inside a depressurized tube, the air removed to eliminate resistance. Not traveling on rails, but actually levitating above them. Capable of reaching airplane speeds and beyond on the ground. This is a Hyperloop, and it is amazing. Even more amazing, at Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, we haven't been imagining it, we've been building it for the better part of 5 years. And amazing is where we started. We're transforming the passenger experience, putting comfort and safety at the center of everything we're doing. Our reimagined linear electric motor is powered by sustainable solar energy, propelling the capsule on a completely new, incredibly efficient passive levitation system. With these two breakthroughs, our system is capable of giving energy back to the grid. And when something didn't exist, we invented it. Introducing Vibranium, a composite material that monitors speed, capsule integrity, and atmospheric condition in real time, a new benchmark in passenger safety. And we're not done. Our team of over 800 strong, a worldwide intellectual ecosystem of thinkers and problem solvers, tackle each day with the humble goal of changing the world. With its speed and efficiency, the Hyperloop will rewrite the rules of travel and mobility. But that's just one side of the story. There's another side that will have a far greater impact. It's the side that redefines how we connect with one another. Where distant friends become neighbors, countries become neighborhoods. And everybody who inhabits this big, crazy world of ours grows a little closer together. Just imagine that.
Well, you know what's the best part? Is built on proven technologies. Yes, we're putting everything together. Yes, we're innovating. But most of the technologies that we have put together during these 5 years were already there. Were an opportunity for us already there. So how it works? Okay, you saw it. It's a capsule that goes in a low pressure environment. It's not full vacuum, it's a low pressure environment. So you reduce the resistance. We have electromagnetic propulsion and passive magnetic levitation. And of course, again, I say before, it's not about creating an infrastructure, solving one problem and creating 5. We are trying to do it in a way that we integrate it with the environment. We give different alternative uses to the infrastructure. And we try not to divide the neighborhoods, not to divide the countryside. So some pictures that you can see. Yeah, that's important too, We try to do it in harmony with the nature. So let's talk about the capsule. You have like a 32 meters capsule, works with passive magnetic levitation. The capacity goes between 28 and 40 people, and you could put a capsule in the tube every 4 seconds. And here you are seeing a picture of the first full-scale Hyperloop capsule that we presented in Spain like 6 months ago.
When you're thinking about how to solve what's wrong today in transportation, it takes more than just one person, one company. It literally takes a movement. And that's what we're doing. We started to manufacture the first full-scale passenger Hyperloop capsule in the world. We're working with the best in class.
I'm Paul Priestman, and I'm the chairman of Priestman Good. We're the leading transportation design company in the world. We work in many sectors, in the aviation sector, the rail sector, and even in space. It's been great working with Hyperloop Transportation Technologies. Their ethos is very similar to ours here at Priestman Good. What we're trying to do jointly is develop the most modern, the most futuristic form of transport.
We developed a new material. We called it vibranium. Vibranium is the safest material on Earth. It's intelligent. It actually senses integrity. It monitors impact. We're manufacturing the capsule with a double layer. So if one skin is damaged, you still have the other one and can take the capsule out of circulation. Production will roughly take 1 year at our partner Caburis, which is manufacturing also for Airbus and Boeing.
In the case of Hyperloop, this can be thought of as an airplane without wings. Putting those two teams together was crucial to really get the ideas and the technologies to really materialize and see what we're actually seeing today.
By using cutting-edge technology, we're transforming mobility as we know it. Para nosotros, it's been a pleasure being part of the process from the beginning, from designing the capsule to manufacturing, assembly, and final delivery.
Together, we have built the world's first Hyperloop passenger capsule, and now we're sending it to our research and development facility in Toulouse for integration and testing.
So, at the end of the day, what is the most important thing? We want to travel safe, with comfort. We want to have a seamless experience, and we want to have connectivity. And we want to create a passenger-centric platform, okay? It's not about the capsule, it's about what is inside. How do we interact with the system? Biometric recognition, the way that, we can... When we started to develop this, we discovered, well, we are in a tube, so we don't have windows. And we say, well, what do we do? The people is used to go with windows. So we developed this new technology that we call it augmented windows, where you have augmented reality, virtual reality windows, and with motion tracking, you have different views depending on the person that is in the row, okay? And you know what we discovered? We discovered that this innovation could be used also for the planes, could be used also for the trains. Why? Because at the end of the day, for the ones that are in manufacturing in aerospace, they know that windows are holes, and then you need to reinforce, so you need more weight. So, where do you want to travel? You want to go around Paris? You want to go to the old Thailand? You want to see, I don't know, Jurassic Park? Whatever option you have. So anyway, this is our station, the Dewdrop station, that allow us to put a capsule in the tube every 40 seconds. You see some pictures of the departure area, arrival, and boarding area. We keep always the capsule on the low pressure environment, so we don't have the problems of the different cycles of fatigue, okay? And people goes inside the capsule and outside the capsule through a dock load. That is a proprietary technology that we have developed that is very similar to the one that you have in the space stations, okay? So just a small idea of how this works. But anyway, Hyperloop is also about sustainability, okay? We have an obligation to our planet. So basically, Hyperloop rely 100% in alternative energy. We use solar, we use regenerative braking, we use geothermal and wind, okay? And the most important thing, we generate more energy than we consume. Based on our passive magnetic levitation system, we do not need to electrify the truck. For all the ones that know about maglev is a great technology that has been here for a while, but has a huge problem of energy consumption. You need to electrify the truck and you need to use a lot of energy. In our case, our truck is just a simple truck of aluminum, not electrified. That's our proprietary technology. So for instance, in the feasibility study we did between Ottawa and Toronto, I think that was, yeah, Ottawa, Toronto, we created 15% more energy than we consume. And of course, Hyperloop is about digitalization. If I send you, from here to whatever place in 15 minutes, but then you need 1 hour to arrive, if your experience is not seamless, we have not solved the problem. So we have been working in a platform that we call it Mobility OS, that basically has 3 layers of technology, of digital technologies integrated. Has digital recognition based on biometrics and digital identity storage in blockchain, has a second layer of artificial intelligence for a trip organizer, and a third layer, that allow you to have a marketplace to give services and to provide alternatives of monetization. So, we have talked about what's the problem, we have talked what's this for us is the solution, but let me tell you a little bit about the part that I'm more proud of, is how are we building this? How are we doing it? Okay? So, we are a crowd-powered company, We are not a company, we are a movement. We like to say that we are a movement. We have people all around the world working in exchange of stock options. When we started, we were like 100 people, but right now we've got more than 800 people and more than 50 companies collaborating with us, putting his efforts, his minds, his intelligence, to help us to do this. We had 70,000 hours of engineers and scientists working with us before accepting a single dollar, of investors. And we have a really, really different way of working, If you see our organizational chart, you will see that until the area of head is our full-time employees. We've got like 60 people around the world. And for every full-time employee, we have like 15 contributors. We have standing teams, people that is contributing a minimum of 10 hours a week, every week, to work with us. We have our talent pool, people that we use, and every time that we have a problem, we can create in 24 hours a sprint team to solve that problem. And of course, we have our community that help us, more than 300,000 people that help us around the world with ideas, with suggestions, Anyway, these are some of our partners too, how do we work with them. And, some of them are companies that, Label is the inventor of the vacuum pump. Of course, you want to develop the vacuum. Why you want to reinvent the wheel? You work with the ones that invented it more than 100 years ago. We have companies like DAR, one of the top civil engineering companies in the world. We've got a lot of companies, different companies working with us. Okay? But Harvard has defined us like the new way of building companies of the future, And think about it. This is a way of solving every single problem that humanity has, We have a huge opportunity using this model to solve very complex situations. How do we approach to the technology? We basically scout the technologies, we see the best technologies that are available around the world, and we integrate it with our system. Here you see our vacuum system that we have containerized and packaged in containers, 10 containers every 10 kilometers. This was fully developed together with Label. Or our technology for passive magnetic levitation.
Using magnets to move and elevate trains is not a new thing, but this method hasn't been efficient enough to make sense on a large scale. The primary reason? Simple. A vast amount of energy is required to power the system. 20 years ago, a team of engineers from Lawrence Livermore Labs began the work that would solve those problems. For more than 2 decades, they researched a full-scale functioning prototype. And in that time, they discovered how to arrange magnets over an aluminum track in such a way that the track uses almost no power, making it much more efficient. At Hyperloop, we've picked up where they left off, adapting that revolutionary system for commercial use. There are several ways in which our system, using passive magnetic levitation, is safer and more efficient than maglev technology currently in use. Let's start with efficiency. Regenerative braking during deceleration recovers much of the energy used for acceleration. Power stations are not required along our track, making our system more affordable to build than previous levitation systems. Let's talk about safety. Only when the pod slows and returns to a safe speed will it gently touch down on the track once again. A comfortable, natural occurrence with our magnetic levitation system. At a slow, comfortable speed, the capsule rises up from the track. This levitation remains steady and constant through the duration of the journey. We find the smartest technologies and look for ways to improve them. You'll find this approach repeated over and over within every aspect of HTT innovation.
How do we approach innovation? You know, for all the ones that are here a little bit old, like is my case, you have heard a lot about lean manufacturing. We have been years, talking about continuous improvement. We have been years talking about, fighting against the waste. But here is not the real exponential idea, The idea is to innovate and to use that innovation. You can, if you think in manufacturing, you can innovate in all the process. I love this slide. Nobody understands it, but I love it, okay? So, basically, you can innovate first in the process, in the think tank, design and engineering, in all the different areas of the process. And then when you think in the product, you can innovate in the materials, you can innovate in the hardware, in the firmware, you can innovate in the software, in the user experience, and in the integrated logistics system that sometimes is a big part, of the life of the system. And finally, when we approach and we analyze how to innovate, we also think about what are the areas and the technologies that are going to be involved. And in Hyperloop, we touch almost everything, We touch civil engineering, we touch energy, aerospace, electromagnetics, digital, ILS, every single area. And how do we collaborate to create innovation? What is our approach to industrialization, when we work with our partners? Well, we have created kind of a acronym that we call ACM, that is our Advanced Collaborative Manufacturing. What does it mean? We don't design anything and give it to our partners to build. We don't do build to print, But we don't even do, what the automobile industry do, that give you the idea and then, based on the experience of the partner, try to refine it. Not at all. The first thing that we do when we collaborate with a company is to understand what is in the mind of the people of that company, what they want to, what is important for them in his strategy to design, to innovate, what are the main areas of innovation. And then we found a project that is good for us, but also good for them. And then we basically define the high-level requirements and the core functionality, and they do the job. Because they are the experts, they are the ones that they have the expertise to do it, okay? And what is our job? Integrate it. Integrate that with the whole ecosystem of technologies that we have in the Hyperloop. So, of course, this is going to create a huge impact. We really believe that the fourth industrial revolution will be, based on the companies that are really connected and working in crowd, working in network, and being able to collaborate together. Okay? And of course, we touch, as I was saying first, most of the areas, cobots, 3D printing, magnetics, passenger experience. There is no a single area of the industry that we are not touching. So I have news for you guys. Hyperloop is happening, and it's happening now. It's not something for 20 years, it's not something for 10 years. No, it's really happening. So we have different collaborations and different feasibility studies around the world, in Great Lakes, in Minas Gerais. We have areas of media coverage. Everybody has heard about the Hyperloop. So some pictures of our actual R&D center in Toulouse. This is the first 300 meters of full-scale Hyperloop that has been built in the world. We are starting testing actually next week, and we can test everything here except the speed. Speed will be tested in the 5 kilometers that we will be doing in Abu Dhabi. So we have an Nexus Square in Brazil, an innovation center. These are some pictures of what happened in Brazil when we arrived there. And we always work in the same way. We create innovation hubs with not too much engineers, no more than 15, because we want to oblige them to work with the community, to work with the ecosystem and to use the best in every country, and the best technologies that are in every country. So, anyway, it's happening now, and what is next? Well, next is China, where we have signed an agreement for doing 10 kilometers in Tongren. Next is Abu Dhabi, where we will start to breaking ground next year to do the first 5 kilometers, first commercial prototype of the Hyperloop. Okay, Ukraine, Great Lakes, other projects. So I want to finish with a sentence. There is a Chinese proverb that says, those who say it can be done should not interrupt those doing it. In our company, we say a different thing. We say, if they tell you they cannot do it, it only means that they have not figured out how to do it. That doesn't mean that you cannot figure out how to do it. So please, join us, help us. We have a revolution going on. Happy to welcome you to the movement. Thank you very much.